It's time that we address the shocking truth regarding Ronda Rousey's WWE status and really run, because Ronda Rousey from 2018 to 2022, 2023, she's had quite the run with the company. Yet there's been a lot of talk regarding her tenure because of the recent comments made by Ronda towards not only Vince McMahon in her book and in interviews, but as well as current WWE executive Bruce Pritchard. She also went at former WWE executive John Laurinaitis. She made a name for herself in UFC. She pioneered women's MMA. She helped the evolution in women's wrestling, but she wasn't a pioneer, obviously. We look at Ronda Rousey making a name for herself in Strikeforce, then in UFC. She created a women's division, essentially, in the UFC before making the move to WWE. She had a great in-ring debut match, one of the best first-year runs of any star in the history of the wrestling business, teaming up with Kurt Angle to take on Triple H and Stephanie McMahon in the next tag team match at WrestleMania 34 in 2018. Phenomenal match. She was booked as a top star. She was booked as just a top-notch babyface. She held the Raw Women's title forever. She feuded with everyone on the Raw ring at that time. She even had a singles match with Charlotte Flair at Survivor Series 2018, originally supposed to work Becky Lynch. Obviously, Nia Jax punched Becky in the face, broke a organ bone, and plans got in. Then she goes, turns heel, right? Better heel than a babyface by far. Her heel run in the first run of her WWE tenure was phenomenal. She was great. Then we go to WrestleMania 35, 2019, first woman to ever headline WWE's biggest event of the year. WrestleMania 35. Becky Lynch goes over Charlotte Flair, goes over Ronda Rousey with the Raw and SmackDown women's titles around her shoulder. She takes time off. She starts a family with her husband, Travis Brown. Great. She returns. 2022, Royal Rumble. Then she's booked and booked and booked. Some good, some bad. Some good matches, some bad matches. Meh. It was there. She had her last WWE match against Shayna Baszler at SummerSlam 2023. And then she went on and did a few indie shows. She did a ROH/AEW match. And now she's promoting her new book. And she has made headlines. So let's get into it, because Ronda Rousey is on the minds of a lot of people. She's made it very clear in various ways that she's not looking to return to WWE after two separate runs with the company. It started out a few months ago when she sent out a tweet regarding Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard, giving her thoughts on McMahon's resignation from the TKO board following the horrific and bombshell level-like lawsuit filed against WWE, John Laurinaitis, and Vince McMahon by former WWE employee Janelle Grant. Rousey stated that McMahon will always have a say in the company through longtime executive Bruce Pritchard, because Pritchard has been a long supporter of McMahon over the years. Okay? I mean, the man defends him at nonstop on his podcast. Now, in her autobiography, Rousey let her feelings known about how she didn't like Vince McMahon very much and went off on him. She ripped him. She also mentioned in WB there was, by all accounts, a casting couch culture where men backstage in powerful positions pressured female talent for certain favors in order to get on television. Now, in a recent interview, Rousey revealed that she had to cut out the trash talk that she intended to share about Bruce Pritchard and John Laurinaitis in her book. I can only imagine how much further she would have gone. Now, in the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer reported that a person close to the situation said that Rousey, quote-unquote, felt that WWE was a culture that was not the greatest towards women, right? Misogynist. And by the time that she had left, she despised Vince McMahon. Jesus, I can't talk. So I'm sure someone in the comments will let me know. She despised McMahon, but remained friendly with Stephanie and had positive things about Triple H. It was added that she despised Vince, but to this day, she still loves Dana White. So what do we take away from that other than me not being able to pronounce certain words at certain times? Ronda Rousey will not be returning to WB. And I understand, well, WB, TKO, they're trying to distance themselves from Vince McMahon. Well, yeah, sure, but like going out on Twitter, blasting the company, writing an autobiography which mainly covers your WB tenure and your UFC run and why you retired because of concussions and hiding them, but going off on not only the former founder, but going off on a current executive, a high-ranking executive, doesn't really go over well. Talking about the current culture in WB, probably not the best way to go about things. All these things that lead up to, I don't think that we're going to see Ronda Rousey back in WB. And honestly, if I'm a Tony Khan or an AEW, you may want to think secondly about bringing her in or not. Because let's be real, AEW doesn't have the best rep in regards to backstage handling of things, right? The Punk incident, etc. Sammy Guevara. So, like, what do we take away from this? I don't know. Look, she said that she couldn't be handled by WB anymore. I think to a certain degree, this is her trying to sell books. You don't come out and say all this stuff right before you're about to sell a book. And there not be some agenda of at least getting people talking. Now, does that mean that she doesn't believe these things that she's saying and that she's just doing it for PR purposes? Absolutely not. I do believe that she thinks these things. And she will defend her comments to the bitter end because that's just the type of person that she is. And there's not really a problem with that. But when it comes to making allegations like that, it's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. I stand by that she was screwed in her second run, and that probably didn't help things. She wanted to do a much longer, drawn-out feud and pairing with Shayna Baszler. They had to rush through that because contract issues stood in the way of that, and she didn't want to extend her deal. So there's a lot to this, but either way, she has a lot of valid points, and a lot of it I agree with.